I honestly enjoy Dead or Alive 6, but Tecmo Koei is really making me want to hate it. What the is up with this grindy method to unlock costumes? Who the heck puts RNG mechanics behind an unlock system in a fighting game? Explain this! Hey guys, so for this unscripted video, I'm going to talk about why do people hate Koei Tecmo in 2019 and what reoccurring issues have transferred from 2018 into 2019.
You're embarrassing me.
So last year, people were highly irritated with Koei Tecmo over the Warriors series for not making any major improvements, and with Dynasty Warriors 9 it was kind of broken, but for me I didn't have any issues on the PS4 version. I showed a video early about how broken it was for Windows, and now they won't send me any games anymore because I showed it like a day early. That's why I don't get Koei Tecmo games anymore. I'm so sad. Personally, I don't hate their games, I just hate their practices. One of the issues that they had last year was DLC items that were taken out of the game and then added later back into the game in the Warriors series. So first I'm going to put a screenshot of Dynasty Warriors 9 from Koei Tecmo America, the additional weapons pack. Some reviewers like Jim Sterling noticed that some of the weapons were missing from the game, and later they decided to add these weapons back in DLC, which this irritates me so much because this should never happen. You should not be taking out weapons or items or characters from a game and then adding them back in as DLC later. I'm not sure how much the DLC for Dynasty Warriors is, but for Dead or Alive it's like $92.99. It's ridiculous. And you probably have to pay a tax on that. I think Sony makes you pay a tax now. That's ridiculous. You should have all this content included from the start. So I'm gonna also put up another video, and on this video that I'm showing, it has a total of 49 likes and 146 dislikes. So that's like 33% almost positive. That's really bad, and they don't care because they keep doing it. It's not like they're doing anything different. They've been doing this for the past year or so. They've just been doing this, and ever since Dynasty Warriors 9 I've noticed it more with the weapons and everything. We're gonna take a look now at their page and some videos that are at like 80%, and those are Dead or Alive because there's some people that do actually like the DLC for Dead or Alive. That's why it's at 80%. It's 20% disliked because of the fact that people paid for the full game and now you're releasing it for free with less characters, and people could just buy a character or something that they like and play it that way. So that's a little annoying that people now just get it free. Like a week later you're releasing Dead or Alive 6 Core Fighters. I think Dead or Alive 5 Core Fighters came out a couple years after that main game. This has only been a week or two. Then you got the DLC, which I'm gonna get into that soon. Let's first talk about Dynasty Warriors 9. Right here you got a 50 or 61% dislike ratio, 63%, 57%, 49%, 44%, and 50%. These are the weapons that I'm talking about. They have little 30-second, 20-second video of the DLC that they're selling these things for when it should have been in the game. There's no way you should be having it separately. And I don't know what this is, Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends Definitive Edition. Maybe that's DLC too. I'm not sure. They sell a lot of DLC. If you actually notice, this Arland video is very positive, 96%. These games are their highest because people really like those games. And look, even this, they're adding more content later after the game's already out. What is this crap? Like, this is ridiculous. Oh my god, Koei. Actually, Attack on Titan 2, this video is very high, 97%. But Dynasty Warriors and Dead or Alive, they're making Dead or Alive dead on arrival. If you haven't seen the meme, there's been a lot of that on Twitter and everything. So the next thing I want to talk about is the DLC issue for Dead or Alive 6. The season pass is $92.99, and in Korea, it's 110,800 won. Right now, the Korean won is like 87 cents to the dollar, so it might be like $100. So it's even more over here, which is ridiculous. So they even have it scheduled out, and this is the first one. They even have it set at season pass number 1. I bought one of these on Dead or Alive 5. It didn't have like number 1 or anything. I think I just bought like a collection thing, and I didn't know they were doing season pass. I was like, oh, I should buy a season pass, but then they started releasing more, and I didn't do that. I just bought the costumes that I wanted, and then when I saw that they were doing so many, I was like, no, I'm not doing this. So it'll go from March to June 2019. The season pass will give you 62 costumes and 2 new characters. Starting from day one, they had this. It's not like they just, oh, here it is. Like Dead or Alive 5, we're constantly making new content. This is different. This is from the start. They already had this stuff made. They already have it planned, and it's a little ridiculous, especially since they took the sexiness out of Dead or Alive 6. A lot of people were mad about that. That was a game that you have is sexy, and they just took it out. Dead or Alive 6, happy wedding costumes, and some of these might be reused from the last games. They added additional character costumes, a new additional character which they didn't announce yet, and new additional character debut costumes. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it is funny because you can buy the DLC for 5,000 won, about $5. Like if you want to use one main character, you can just buy them and you get the free version. You pay like $5 if you just want one character, $15 if you want 2 characters. What is the point in buying the main game if you can just get it free and play with the characters they give you and then buy a couple of characters? The whole game should be free to play if this is how they're doing the DLC. If you notice, the DLC game trailers are their most disliked videos, especially for the Warriors games. But this year, everything is about Dead or Alive 6. First, everyone hated on it because of the censorship. They decided to make it less sexy. I don't think that was a Sony thing. I think that was a Koei Tecmo thing, because Sony has been doing that too, and I'll get into them in another video. But it's just ridiculous when you are a fan service game and you even updated the gameplay. I like the gameplay, actually. I really like the gameplay. The gameplay is really fun in that game, but you took the sexiness out of it. They added ripped clothing. Imagine if they added like the extra bounciness and all the extra sexuality in it. It'd be fine. You're just screwing a lot of people over that really like their games for that. I don't mind that as much as the DLC. The DLC is what bothers me. One thing that is good about the censorship thing is for YouTubers like me, I don't get flagged anymore for Dead or Alive 6 videos, but for Dead or Alive 5, all my videos are flagged. Even the ones where they are like fully clothed because their boobs jiggle and stuff. That's the main reason why, I guess. I don't know, because I have videos where there's nothing wrong in the video and it's just a fighting game, but I guess maybe their boobs are bouncing or something, and that's why YouTube doesn't like it. It's so stupid. So next, let's talk about the sales for Dead or Alive 6. In Japan, it made number 1, but it only sold 26,442 units. That's abysmal for a Dead or Alive game, or any game for that matter. I don't care if you're number 1. Like, that's ridiculous. That's just in Japan. So let's talk about in America and the UK. Let's see here. As reported by Games Industry Biz, Dead or Alive 6 was only the 21st best-selling video game of the week. It has been reported that the game sold less than half the number of sales Dead or Alive 5 got in 2012 when the game came out on PS3 and Xbox 360. So they're not including total sales. They're just including initial sales. It sold less than half of Dead or Alive 5. Then it says something about it could be because of digital sales. I don't think so. A lot of people were pissed off at Koei Tecmo for what they did with the censorship, and then people got more pissed off at the DLC. The DLC is a ridiculous thing. I don't understand how people can't hate on them as much as EA and not support them as much, but Koei Tecmo does it. I don't see as much hate. I only see hate on Steam. That's the main website that I see hate on. Before we go to Steam, I want to go to Twitter. So Dead or Alive 6 official tweeted that the update version 1.03a for 329 includes DLC, add-ons, game balance adjustments, and bug fixes. Team Ninja is working on online lobbies for all platforms and still requires polish. That kind of sounded a little weird with it. Lobbies version 1.03b are now scheduled for release in April. Your patience is greatly appreciated. This is after the game has already been out for about a month almost, and you don't have it fixed. I had no idea about the lobbies until I started seeing Steam and I started seeing Twitter. So here's some Twitter comments on that post. DOA 6 is a great game released too soon and surrounded by some of the worst marketing decisions I've ever seen. Get lobbies out ASAP and add individual DLC pieces in the West for PS4 plus PC. And they're saying basically they don't want a season pass, they want to be able to buy the stuff separately. So what they've done is they've closed that off and just made it all available only in the season pass. That is also stupid. Why are you killing your own player base, Tecmo? Buy Dead or Alive 6. So there's some comments on that, and I want to continue with some of the Twitter hate because that's what this video is about. Why do people hate Koei Tecmo? Okay, so here is one tweet that I found. I honestly enjoy Dead or Alive 6, but Tecmo Koei is really making me want to hate it. What the heck is up with this grindy butt method to unlock costumes? Who the heck puts RNG mechanics behind an unlock system in a fighting game? Explain this. I've only played the beta. I liked the beta. I thought it was very limiting, and it sounds like the actual game itself is very limiting with the unlock system and the DLC. So I'm going to read one of the most recent negative reviews that I saw on Steam today, and I'm also going to read another one that I read the other day that someone played for a very long time. It has a well optimized system. Triangle system is at its best here. Story mode is actually coherent. I've heard a lot of good things about the story mode, so that's one positive at least. It's the multiplayer, the unlock system, and the DLC. That's what people really hate. Break gauge is not as exciting to use, nor is it fun to play against. Poor graphic options. Stick or controller support is limited. No cross-platform online. That's never gonna happen. No online lobbies. AMD Lost Paradise tessellation bug is still not fixed nearly a month after release. Poor in-game unlocking structure for costumes. No hidden stages or hidden characters. Well, you know where those characters went. They went to DLC. Disastrous DLC support. Developer prioritizes DLC functionality over fixing bugs and implementing promised features on time. And here's another one. Yeah, this is exactly what I said. Reasons to not support this game. The release of Core Fighters not even a month into the game's release is a smack in the face to all the early adopters. Even after the release of Core Fighters, Phase 4 is still Deluxe Edition only, and there's not even a Deluxe Edition upgrade. Meaning those that want her need to pay $80 regardless of what they've bought. And that is a little ridiculous. I think even Red Dead Redemption 2 had like an upgrade option. Many games have an upgrade option. There's no lobbies, and though they're promised to be released soon, we're still waiting on soon for Dead or Alive 5 lobbies as well. Yes, I think the reason why DOA 5 is having so many problems is I think people just abandoned it. I don't think people play online anymore. I tried to play and there was no one. I could never find a match. That was on PS4. No crossplay means that during low points you need to wait upwards of 10 minutes for a ranked match. And that's another reason why I don't want to buy it. Fighting games should work now online. Mortal Kombat, that game worked fine. I love Mortal Kombat online. Those games worked really good online. Dead or Alive, I've always had a little bit of problem online. That's why I only play like the story mode, and then after the story mode, I can't play online, so I just don't play it anymore. No crossplay means that during low points, you need to wait upwards 10 minutes for a ranked match. Double unlock system for costumes. You need to play and get random costume shard drops to unlock the option to buy the costume with in-game currency. Overall, the game is fun and in my opinion better than Dead or Alive 5, but that doesn't change all the stuff that's wrong with this game. Okay, so here is a nice, I really like this one, so let's read this. As an early adopter, it saddens me to say there's more steps backward from Dead or Alive 5 here than forward. Either go buy Dead or Alive 5 or play the Core Fighters version of this and wait till a sale or buy a few characters you know you'll play. Don't shill for this disappointment of a Dead or Alive game. Boy, how do I go about reviewing this? I generally like the DOA series. What's not to like? The gameplay is fun, the costumes normally are flashy, and well, do I gotta explain the physics? Now, take most of what's good about DOA and make it leave the building, except the combat. It can stay. Do that, and you have Dead or Alive 6. Somewhere along the lines, KT heard the phrase, "If it ain't broke, don't fix it," and misinterpreted it as make the DLC hella expensive again, but change everything else. There's a lot here that is missing, surprisingly, considering how similar it is to DOA 5. Costumes are a joke, and getting them is more infuriating than playing online with a friend, which is saying a lot considering there's no lobby system. Yet, I say tentatively, in the same vein that I say there's no lobby system yet for Dead or Alive 5, which is due to the fact that to unlock costumes, KT basically holds a gun to your head and tells you to play the new DOA quest and cross your fingers that you get outfit parts for a character you like, let alone an outfit you particularly want, considering that you want a particular outfit that isn't mediocre and you want a particular color because there's only 3 or 4 costumes per character and all the other outfits comprise of recolors. DOA quest can give you 200 to 300 costume parts per mission completed, and some outfits require upwards of 1,000. So get that grind on, and don't even think about playing arcade or survival for costume parts. I don't care if you buffed how many parts drop per match, KT 10 times 1 equals 10, and that's still abysmal considering that I have to play 100 matches to unlock one outfit that requires 1,000 parts, assuming that I get the parts to drop consistently for that one outfit. Also, if you get 300 parts for an outfit that requires 100, those other 200 parts just go up in smoke, just poof, gone, and you have to buy the outfits afterwards with in-game currency. All things considered though, you should have the currency by then considering how many matches you have to play. If you're looking to add a little more enjoyment and absurdity to your game by upping the jiggle physics, KT just snickers in your face, Jonah Jameson style, and then asks, "You serious?" They most likely remove that feature to ponder to the NPCs some, that or to make it seem like it's a family-friendly esports game, which DOA is by its very nature not. It's not as brash and in your face about its promiscuous and sexual nature, and instead tones down like a new nun reflecting on her choices during spring break of '89. Whew, this is good. Okay, this is getting good. On the money side of things, it seems like the DLC is still going to be outrageously priced. What else is new? But it still irritates me that there isn't a purchasable digital deluxe edition upgrade, and that a Core Fighters version has already been released. Don't get me wrong, it's a neat practice and all, but as an early supporter buying the game day one, I kind of feel gypped. Seen as I only played a few characters, so just buying them separately would have been cheaper on my end. Also, the early supporter bonus of Nayo Tengu is a purchasable DLC, but Phase 4 isn't. Then what's the point of being an early supporter? Alright, the exclusive Kasumi costume that is kind of meh to begin with. Now to the part that people will care about. Is the combat good? Yes it is. It feels a lot like Dead or Alive 5 with the exception that holding spams have been slightly nerfed. They're still doable and have a large safety window, but aren't as busted as they were in Dead or Alive 5. That's one thing I liked about this game. You can't just spam someone. They also added a meter like every other fighting game. This basically replaces the rage meter mechanic and basically lets you do your super powerful attacks multiple times in a match, but the damage is nerfed from rage attacks in Dead or Alive 5, and they have more functionality allowing you to do a super hold, a combo that leads into your super move thing, but it does a little less damage overall, or the combo on its own, or you can just straight up use the super move. The game itself also looks a bit better than its predecessor. Some characters look same-ish, while other characters look a lot better, like Honaka and Kokoro. The UI and HUD are a huge turnoff for me though. The main menu does what a lot of games do nowadays and has a list format on the left that is really clunky and looks weird and has a randomized character set to the right. Overwatch's main menu, a good example to compare this to, though you can set what character appears on the screen. The character select screen is neat, not my cup of tea. It looks kind of grunge-esque, like something you would expect from a back alley fighting game rather than a tournament fighting game that features ninjas and mixed martial arts duking it out in exotic locations. The story is rather meh. As always, IMO. The moments with Marie Rose and Honoka were cute. The roster feels really small, most likely because they were going to add more DLC characters as fighters. Get your wallets ready. Dead or Alive 6 Last Round Extreme Electric Boogaloo NPC Edition. All in all, I can't recommend this game in the state it's in. Maybe if we get a lobby and better matchmaking settings, I could recommend it, but the costumes being such a pain to get is still a major turnoff and still tips the scale towards the negative. If you're going to play it, play the Core Fighters version and either wait for a sale or buy a few characters. Don't spend too much on this sorry disappointment. Better yet, go play Dead or Alive 5 instead. If you stuck around this long and read this entire thing, thanks. I've been debating on writing this review and kept trying to find ways to word how I feel about it, and I hope it helps you decide whether or not you want to buy the game. There's no reward for getting this far besides me calling you an awesome, so yeah, that's pretty cool of you, Chief. That's also quite a bit of time you aren't getting back, huh? That's kind of why I put the version at the top. What are you still doing here reading this? Go do something productive with your life now that you've heard my show. Okay, so I'm gonna give that a like. Oh, I can't do it because I'm not logged in, but this is really cool. I'm sharing this guy's thoughts and feelings on this, and I think he actually has a solid review here. This is a really long, nice review, and if you guys could give him a thumbs up on Steam, I think it's pretty accurate. Everything except I've heard a lot of good things about the story, but I don't know. I haven't played the game. I'm gonna read a little bit of another review made by Azure Dragon X. He has over 28 hours into the game, and he wrote, "This game is a disgrace," and this is coming from someone who bought Dead or Alive 5 3 times. Once on the PS3, then Last Round re-release, and then PS4. I imported Dead or Alive Extreme 3 from China and bought Hong Kong currency to buy the VR mode in the Hong Kong PS store. So I am a fan. Team Ninja betrayed their own fans by watering down and reducing the fan service that made this series a success. And with $1,000 in DLC costumes for Dead or Alive 5, I'm thinking it's more of almost $2,000 if you paid full price day one. Like, they have a lot of sales now, so it's like $1,200 to $1,800 or something like that. From that price range, that's because it got cheaper. When it first came out, it was like probably over $2,000 is what people paid. So let's not pretend the series was kept alive by fighting fans only. Reduced breast sizes, less jiggle under clothing, no jiggle adjustment levels like before, no pokies on Lee Fang's black dress anymore. The breasts in general just look odd, especially Tina. They look like plastic surgery sitting odd on the chest and like they have hard flat sides, weirdly enough. I wanted to like this game, but the costume unlocking system is a nightmare. You collect parts for winning modes, about 200 parts if you win a 16 round arcade mode on normal difficulty. Costumes cost around 500 to 1,000 and also require points. You get about 100 to 300 points per win. Costumes cost around 1,000 to 20,000 each. The best part is the costume parts are awarded randomly to characters and costumes you probably don't even want. They finally patched this so it is per character, but still allotted randomly among their costumes, and still a colossal grind. You are looking at hours to unlock all costumes for a single character. Why did they do this? Why? Not to mention the unlockable costumes are extremely tame and boring. The good ones, swimsuits, nurse outfits, schoolgirl outfits, and etc. are left out to sell as DLC later. There are barely any levels. There's no tag team. I did not know that. That's something that I really liked in the old game. And some characters have been left out again to sell as DLC later on in their $92 to $100 season pass. What are we paying for here? A watered down version of Dead or Alive 5 with somehow even less features, a grind, and ruined graphics. I couldn't find a single player online for ranked matches in the week of release. Dead on release. It is better now, probably because of the patch. That's another review I decided to read because I thought it was very accurate, and it listed some things that I didn't know about the game before. So finally, we're done with Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive 6 paid version is just trash. I do remember seeing the stats of the game were at like 10,000 people, and it was dropping from 10,000 people playing online. It dropped 10,000 in the first week of launch. That is abysmal. Like, I think some games have like 150,000 or 100,000 people playing, and it was dropping. It dropped to like 7,000. I don't know what it's at now. It's just like they said, dead on arrival. That's really bad. And now I want to talk about the last thing that people really hate is re-releasing a PS4 game again. Why? They're releasing a Samurai Warriors 4 DX. This is a very disliked video on YouTube. It's gonna be Samurai Warriors 4 with all the DLC. What the heck is the point? Why are you doing this? And the other funny thing is, why did they separate Samurai Warriors 4 content and Samurai Warriors 4 2 content, and then they're gonna make this, but they're not gonna include Samurai Warriors 4 2? Why? Why don't you just include that game and you have it on one single game? Why is it called 4 2 if it has nothing to do with 4? Also, another thing that I had before my review got deleted off my hard drive, thank you for the virus person from Skype, that was my longest review ever, and it would have been a beastie review. I would have been the first one to have it out, and the other person that had it out, they got so many views from it, and mine was the longest review that I've ever done, and it just got deleted. Everything on my hard drive I had to delete because I had a virus that someone gave me from Skype that basically hacked one of my friends, and then they sent me something, and I clicked on it by accident, and yeah, everything got deleted. So in Samurai Warriors 4 2, they have different modes than 4, and 4 has different modes than 4 2. If you just had this all in one game, why would you need two separate games? If it's the DX version, it should have everything. It should have all the modes on that disc, all the DLC on that disc, or download. That's how it should be. I think that's the main reason why people are pissed off at that. And the next thing we're going to talk about is the Atelier series re-releasing the DX versions of their games. I know Rorona was already released as Rorona Plus, but then they're releasing a DX version of it again. I don't understand. Like, that's 3 times. It's already released once, then you release it as Plus, then you release it as DX. Why Rorona? Why are you releasing Rorona again? I guess the only thing I can think of is releasing the whole thing as a trilogy, which that's nice if you released it only as a trilogy and then have the other 2 games. You already have the one as Plus. Why do you need a DX version? It doesn't make any sense to me. Well, other than they want money. That's what Koei Tecmo is. They're all money. So to sum this up, we talked about censorship. We talked about DLC. We talked about Dead or Alive 6 a lot. I'm going to keep all these reviews in here because I think it's important to talk about. And I think Koei Tecmo needs to change their ways about the DLC and many things about Dead or Alive. Here's an idea that you might actually do, Koei Tecmo. Release Dead or Alive 6 again after you have your 10th DLC season pass and sell it as Dead or Alive 6 Plus. And then after you have your 20th DLC, sell it as Dead or Alive 6 DX. There, that's your plan, right? That's what you're planning on doing, right? So first, you're probably going to screw over all these people that paid like over $900 for all your DLC. After so many of them, you're going to release it as one big bundle. And then you're going to release a DX version that includes everything that people paid over $2,000 for. Either way, this DLC capitalism bullcrap has got to stop. So to sum it up, we talked about all of these topics, and the final topics we talked about was re-releasing games too many times. It's very annoying. Sometimes I can understand the Dynasty Warriors, but Dynasty Warriors now is just too rehashed. It's too much of the same. In the last game, they actually took features out of it. I've heard from Jim Sterling that the Warriors Orochi 4 was pretty bad. I didn't even get a review copy, but like I said, they don't like me anymore. But I actually gave Dynasty Warriors 9 a very decent grade, and I enjoyed the PS4 version. The PC version was broken. You can't send a broken version of a game to someone, and how am I going to review it? But yeah, I've always supported them. I've always given them pretty positive reviews. This video sums up why people hate Koei Tecmo in 2019. Maybe next year there'll be a different issue, but the DLC, I think it's here to stay because Koei Tecmo just does not listen. Like EA, they do not listen, and now EA is finally biting the bullet. EA is laying off people. They're not listening to the fans. They're releasing broken games. They're releasing too much DLC, and people don't like it. Remember back when EA had an online pass? So you had to pay for PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live, and then they wanted you to pay $10 to play a game online if you bought it used. If you didn't have the game new, you had to pay $10 for an online pass. So these companies, they're not your friends. Koei Tecmo is big enough now that they don't need to do this DLC crap. If they want to make money, release the game as free to play to begin with, and then release all the DLC you want, because that's really what this game should be. It should be free to play, and it should include the story mode, and then just include one character, and you have to buy all the other characters. How about that? Release the game free, release it with the story mode, or release it like you have to buy one character to get the story mode. Do it that way. Don't release a $60 game, and then you have to pay $90, so you have to pay over $150 for one game to be complete. And you know it's not complete because they're going to have more characters coming with the Season 2 pass. If you guys would like to buy the game at a discount, Green Man Gaming has it for like $40 something right now, which is not a bad deal. That's actually pretty good, but I would wait even longer. If you guys are watching this later, maybe the game has dropped in price, so you can pick it up and help support me by using one of the links below. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this issue. I don't know how much longer I can really go on about this issue, so I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Don't forget the thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe. Support any of the guys that I mentioned from Steam and anyone that I mentioned on Twitter. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.
You're embarrassing me.
And I definitely won't watch you when you sleep. Smile.